In today's video, we are going to be talking about dandruff and dry scalp. I got a question from one of my followers who was asking me how she can be able to deal with dry and flaky scalp, and this is the video for you. So, oftentimes people tend to mistake dandruff and dry scalp, but they have similar symptoms but are two separate conditions actually. Now, when we talk about dandruff, you discover that a large population of people are affected by this condition. Although it's not a serious condition, but it can be really embarrassing and it's very difficult to treat it. In fact, they say there is no cure, so I think this is a condition that can be managed. Another thing you need to know about dandruff is that it is a mild form of another condition called seborrheic dermatitis. Although that is not our focus for today, but I will just touch on it a little bit. Now, seborrheic dermatitis is a more severe form of dandruff, let's put it like that. Or you can also refer to it as a very severe form of eczema. Yeah. So now, seborrheic dermatitis and dandruff are caused by the same two things. When you have seborrheic dermatitis, you're going to see that you have scaly patches, you have skin discoloration, and also dandruff. Dandruff is one of the symptoms of seborrheic dermatitis, and seborrheic dermatitis is more severe than dandruff. Do you understand? So we're going to talk about two things that causes dandruff and also causes seborrheic dermatitis, and after I discuss on those two things, we're just going to kick off and talk about dry scalp and just dandruff. One thing I want you to know about seborrheic dermatitis is that it affects other oily areas apart from your scalp. It also affects your face, your chest, and also your back. Oily areas, emphasis on oily areas. Dandruff and seborrheic dermatitis are caused by two things. One is the overproduction of oil. Yes, when your scalp produces oil excessively or any other oily area on your body, this can lead to seborrheic dermatitis or dandruff. Two is caused by a fungi known as malassezia. Now, malassezia is a naturally occurring fungi on the skin. Is there naturally. The only problem happens when that malassezia starts to multiply in number due to the overproduction of oil. So you will know that overproduction of oil triggers increase in that fungus on your scalp. Increase in the fungus called malassezia on your scalp. That is what I'm saying. So now when this malassezia is multiplied more than is needed on your scalp, it's now going to cause the rapid death of skin cells on your scalp, and that is what you see as flaking. So while you are oiling your scalp every single day of your life, remember that there is a fungus that naturally reside on your scalp and other areas of your body that loves oil. It thrives really well in an environment like that. So once you are applying oil on your scalp, even if your body does not naturally produce excess oil, once you are applying oil excessively on your scalp, you are only breeding the site for it to multiply and cause dandruff for you. So those of you that like to oil your scalp every single day of your life, I hope I've been able to explain this to you. This is why I always say you should not oil your scalp every day. It's not necessary. Twice a week, 3 times a week is okay. Do you understand? Overproduction of oil can be as a result of different things. It could be age, hormones, illness, and also stress can lead to that. And if you're someone that already has these conditions, you don't want to worsen your situation by oiling your scalp every day and even making matters worse. Because remember, if you're already battling with any of the things I already mentioned, which is in your age, because your age can play another factor in the excessive production of oil. Stress can be another factor. What's the other one? Hormones can be another factor, and also other illnesses can be another factor. So if you're already battling with any of these things and you still oil your scalp every day, of course the malassezia on your scalp is going to increase in number, and you are subsequently going to battle with either dandruff or seborrheic dermatitis. So keep that at the back of your mind when you are oiling your scalp every day of your life. Here are two symptoms of dandruff, and you can be able to tell by these two symptoms if you have dandruff. Now, when you have dandruff, you are going to experience flaking on your scalp, and these are going to be oily flakes. They will be white or yellow. You know when you scratch off the flakes that fall off from your scalp? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And the number two symptom is itching. You're going to experience your scalp is going to itch so much, like you will scratch it with all the energy you have in you. So these are the two symptoms. Although these are very similar to dry scalp, but we'll get there very soon. I know someone is asking, how do I prevent this, or how do I manage dandruff on my scalp? Number one, you want to make sure that you increase the number of times you are washing your hair. Those of you that wash your hair once a month but you have dandruff, please stop it. Maybe you can make it twice a month. Wash it every 2 weeks, because How often you wash your hair depends on your hair type. And for those that are white or Asians or all these other hair types, it's easy for them to wash their hair every day. But it's not the same for those of us that have type 4 hair. We have a routine we follow. So if you're someone that maybe wash your hair once a month, please make that twice in a month. You understand? So that you can be able to care for your scalp properly. Another thing you need to do is to use shampoos that contain one, zinc pyrithione. This has antifungal properties and it can help get rid of the fungus that is causing flaking on your scalp. Two is selenium sulfide. This helps to lower the amount of fungus on your scalp and also helps to prevent the excessive shedding of skin cells. Number three is ketoconazole. Now, this one helps to slow down the growth of this fungus called malassezia on your scalp. Four, salicylic acid. This one helps to shed off dead skin cells on your scalp before it even starts to flake or itch you. However, it can dry out your hair, so it's important to always deep condition your hair and also moisturize after you use it. Number five is tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is known to have antifungal properties. So you can either use shampoos that contain tea tree oil or you can use the oil itself, but remember that it's very concentrated, and in order for you to use it you have to mix it with a carrier oil, maybe coconut, jojoba oil, and the list goes on. And once you do that, you apply it to your scalp before you wash your hair. Remember, it's important for you to wash it out when you are done. Do you understand? It's like doing a hot oil treatment. So you apply it directly to your scalp, you massage your scalp, and then you cover it and let it sit for like 15 minutes. And once that is done, remember to shampoo your hair. Please do not leave it. Remember to shampoo your hair. You can shampoo your hair with an anti-dandruff shampoo as well when you wash it out. There are a few things I would like you to note if you are taking any of the things I said into consideration. Number one, for any anti-dandruff shampoo you want to buy, I would like you to read the instructions, understand them, and even do your research. You understand? Because knowledge is power. It's important to have knowledge of what you are buying and then also understand how you are going to use it. Number two, stay away from oily hair care products. And I think it's better to stop using oils on your scalp. As someone who has dandruff, I think oiling your scalp shouldn't be an option. Don't do that. Unless maybe you're using a tea tree oil to treat your dandruff like I explained earlier, and then you're going to wash it out using a shampoo. If not this, I think you should completely stay away from hair growth oil or any other oily hair care products. Number three, always rinse out the shampoo that you use, the anti-dandruff shampoo that you use properly out of your hair. Rinse your hair properly when you are done using it. And finally, you can always consult a healthcare professional to get counsel or advice on the products that you want to buy. One more thing, I was watching some videos doing my own research on dandruff, and I saw where a dermatologist said it's important for you to use an anti-dandruff conditioner by the time you are done shampooing with an anti-dandruff shampoo. But if you don't have an anti-dandruff conditioner, you should avoid putting the normal conditioner on your scalp and only focus on applying it on your hair strands. I hope that makes sense. Now, the same thing applies to your leave-in conditioner and all those other products. Normally, leave-in conditioners are not meant to be put on your scalp. They are meant for your hair. So those of you that like to put leave-in conditioners on your scalp, please stop that. And if you have dandruff and you don't have an anti-dandruff conditioner, please, the one that you have, apply it on your hair strands and not your scalp. And finally, to the next part, dry scalp. Now, dry scalp is nothing to worry about. It's something that you can easily take care of. Dry scalp can be caused by lack of moisture, be it on your skin, and your scalp is not an exception because it's part of that skin. Okay, so when your skin lacks moisture, you are going to experience dryness, which is what leads to dry scalp. And once this happens, your skin becomes really irritated and then it starts to flake. Here are some factors that cause dry scalp. Number one is contact dermatitis. Now, this is as a result of using hair care products like gel, hairspray, because they can be really drying. And some of these gels contain alcohol, you understand. And these things are known to dry out your hair really, really fast. Number two is dry weather. Harmattan season. Harmattan season will show you shiggy. During Harmattan, everything is just prone to dryness. Your skin, your hair, your lips, your clothes, every single thing. And during this time, your scalp is not going to escape. Like I earlier said, it's not an exception. You are going to experience dryness. So also dry weather can cause this. Next is shampooing excessively. Yes, I know you are looking at me. Yes, you people will shampoo your hair like 3 times in a week, or in a month, please, you have no business doing that. You have no business shampooing your hair twice a week or every week sef. Unless you have dandruff, my dear, unless you have dandruff, you have no business doing that, okay? Because some people's dandruff is really, really severe. But if you don't have dandruff, washing your hair once every 2 weeks is very okay. Some people that have dandruff might decide to be washing their hair 3 times in a month, and that is because of the scalp condition that they have. So, those of you that wash your hair excessively, you are stripping your hair of the natural oils because normally your scalp produces oil, it has oil glands. You are stripping yourself of the natural oils that are supposed to, lubricate your scalp and prevent it from dryness. So, my people, avoid washing your hair excessively, okay? Lastly, drink water. Some of you think that what you do outside of your body system is more important than what you do on the inside. Because why are you drinking water once a day? Why? Please drink water. It's important to stay hydrated. Very, very important. So remember to drink water. Last but not the least, here are the similarities and the differences between dandruff and dry scalp. One, the flakes, that is the flakes that sheds off from your scalp that occur as a result of dandruff, are oily, they are large, and they are also yellow or white in color. And the flakes that occur as a result of your dry scalp are not oily, they are dry and they are smaller. Okay, dry scalp and dandruff, they both cause itchiness. Your scalp is going to itch badly. So yes, they share that similarity. And I think this is why people tend to mistake the two a lot. One other major thing that differentiates dandruff from dry scalp is that when your scalp is dry, you are going to notice that other parts of your body are also experiencing that lack of moisture, especially your skin. So when you are experiencing either one of these things and you are confused, look out for these symptoms, look out for these similarities, and also look out for these differences. We have come to the end of this video, and I hope I was able to provide value and help you. Like and also share. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next. Okay, bye.